Morning, Chuck. Oh. Please join me.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, Chuck. You guys, is he muted? He's not muted. Chuck, you there?
Chuck, can you hear us?
No. Probably all looking for formula.
That's good. Not me. I hope it's not him.
No, it might be. I don't know.
Yeah.
Modern technology isn't always the best.
Maybe there was some.
Oh, that's why I'm wondering if he's trying to call you to send it.
Coming with batteries off. Yeah.
Chuck, can you say something?
Was it from Chuck?
Yeah.
Chuck
Tried to call.
tried to call him.
Could you set off it for him and call him and then put it on speakerphone?
Battery don't. That's what's shaking his phone.
You're being filmed.
Oh, yeah, they just put the glass down. Yeah, it's fine.
Is Chuck the only one on there?
No, Kate's on.
Kate's on there. I'm just,
So the microphone's working. Let's see if I can press it to her. All right, so we should be able to hear Chuck. Excuse me. Hi.
Hello, can we? Yeah, we're trying.
All right, Chuck, can you talk again? You may need to go into your Zoom settings down near the microphone. There should be an arrow with a drop down. And sometimes that's separate than the computer settings. So you have to look at the audio on both Zoom and on the computer. If we don't hear you in a minute, I'll go ahead and call you from the conference room phone.
the other one is online. We just tell them we have a technical difficulty. No.
Apologize for technical difficulties.
No worries.
Morning, Chuck.
Good morning.
Okay, you're gonna have feedback unless you turn off your computer audio. You should get a little cardboard chuck.
Yeah, I get that.
Stop him. He's got to turn off his computer audio. Sounds like he's.
Is that
got-
working now?
Yep.
Yes.
You all set? You ready?
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, did he do the pledge of allegiance?
I make a motion to approve the selectmen's minutes dated May 17th, 2022.
I second it.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye,
I'll extend, I haven't run them.
okay. And the selectmen's non-public minutes from May 17th, 2022. I make a motion to approve them.
Now second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right.
We signed a couple yield tax timber cuts. I make a motion to approve the manifest dated May 26th in the amount of $13,124.04.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Fuller abstain, I haven't seen them.
and
Did he say it's
Abstain.
abstain. And I make a motion to approve a manifest dated May 18th in the amount of $42,545.34.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
All right.
that was the one we added Ron Evans onto. And then I approve the manifest of May 19th in the amount decreased amount of $920.34.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye. In the mail folder, we had a notice of violation by the ZEO for property on 60, was that 68 Route 153 or whatever they call that, just before you go over the bridge anyway. Notice from scrap metal people that pickup now is going to go up to $250 per trip due to the
Round trip.
round trip due to the fuel charge. And we get the approval from the New Hampshire retirement system to participate. And also the preliminary payment schedule from the school. And Chuck, you'll love this. It's going to increase $314,581 this year. And that's $1.41 increase per thousand. No comment?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm just sitting here.
He's shaking his head.
Yeah,
That's good news.
okay. I'm not gonna go into administrative comments and reports right now, because we're gonna do the transfer station. That way you can get home, Mark. So, Vicky's probably gonna lead this, but, want to talk about the, schedule that they come up with too for automatic pickup, and go over that at the same time.
Okay. You want me to start with mine? Or you- Go ahead.
The mess we get into the last week with the full capacity,
Yeah,
and she said that we could go on automatic delivery. But the automatic delivery, I'm looking at it, and it's pretty much what you do now. 140-yard demo, once a week on Tuesday. And the glass, leave on call. The municipal solid waste, once every other week on Tuesday. The overflow can, leave on call. And the SSRY, it's a recyclable, once every other week on Tuesdays. That's what you're doing basically right now, every 2 weeks, right? So I don't really see the need to go on automatic delivery, because it's
Well, the-
basically what we're
The
doing.
advantage is that we're on the schedule and we'll automatically get it. And if it calls when they're full, we might not get it. So when they're scheduling their drivers, it lets them plan So my recommendation would be, let's do it. And she said we can do it for 3 months.
Oh,
And then when the summer people go home, go back to on-call. So I would say do it till mid-October and then go back to on-call. Because then just
Oh.
have,
Sounds reasonable, as long as we go back.
yeah, we'll be on the schedule. Her email says we'll
leave
go
it,
back. Just have it happen automatically.
What containers?
What he just read.
yeah. I'm just, in the summertime, I'm just thinking if we're getting the compact is picked up every 2 weeks, sometimes
Yeah,
it may
you-
fill up in a week.
Yeah,
Well, you can call if it fills up in a week.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
yeah, I still called it.
Okay,
Oh, yeah,
so we try it.
we try it, but I'm gonna call them in today or tomorrow. You know why? Holiday. They'll be shut down. They're just about to be shut down Monday. I can't do call-ins.
Yeah, you better.
So if I don't do it today or tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, this week will be 2 weeks.
Any thoughts, Chuck?
I like Audrey's idea of giving it a shot for the summer
Okay,
and then potentially reverting back when it's not as high volume. And as long as we can call it an emergency one because we filled it early, I think it covers us.
okay, yeah,
I hate to see them go out light too.
Yeah, she says you can call if I don't need one this week. But what it'll avoid is you calling and saying, we can't get there till Friday. And you're
Oh,
wondering
yeah,
if you can
yeah,
open
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, we want to get rid of that panic we had last week.
okay. So you'll
Which
sign
might,
us.
which might be 4th of July. Would
Yeah,
that-
so-
Would that go up on the holiday, the 4th of July? You think?
Any holiday, you get a setback, because the dispatch is closed.
I'm
You know
thinking, what
what
if
I'm
we
saying?
looked at when the holidays fall, what if it's an
Let's do it
opposite
for the
week?
summer and I'll make a calendar when they're coming and highlight it so Mark will know
There
when
you
they're
go,
coming.
okay,
Yeah. Okay,
All right,
okay.
so you want to reach out to them?
I'll do that. Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
thank you.
and, I want to tell you too. The glass bin is in place,
Okay,
they put it there, first, I want to know which one is, you just put it on the pad,
you say anything about it?
Wait, they already brought it?
huh?
They already brought it?
Yeah, there, I brought it.
They were supposed to call me yesterday, to tell me when they were coming.
Hey, Loan to my loan with dispatch, that's how they, no, that's how they work.
Well, at least you got it, that's good.
So the glass container is bad on no new slab, right?
So,
That's what he said.
so starting tomorrow, we'll be accepting glass again.
Yeah, we're gonna have to put the new cart together.
Yeah.
I had to bring my own socket set from home to put it together, and I put it in the vehicle already.
Okay.
We'll work on that first thing tomorrow.
Okay, it gives Bill something to do, he likes thinking around.
Bill's gone,
Oh,
Bill
gosh,
went away,
no,
he went to Florida. To see his father for a week.
yeah, okay,
His father's 95 years old.
Okay.
yeah, go visit him when you can. Okay,
Okay, so Audrey and I were working on the used oil, motor oil collection and disposal. I talked to Mark too. And I typed up this thing so that everyone knows what is happening or what will happen if we go through with this. So expenses today, we've spent $7,500 in putting a shed in. And it is leaking. And has been, I guess, since it's been put in. Then we spent $100 to put a special cement floor sealant to protect the slab that it's on because of oil spill or whatever. Then a 500-gallon drum was bought and it's in there for $6,000. and then a plastic container that holds two 55-gallon drums. That's used just in case there's spillage that goes over the 55-gallon drums. It just holds the drums. It was $618.87, which comes to $14,218. Then there are still things that are needed if we continue with this. There's transfer station test kits that the attendees have to use. After a barrel is filled halfway, they have to test to make sure it passes or approved or it's not contaminated before they can put it in drum number 2. There's a spill kit you have to have, which is like a bucket, shovel, and an absorbent that you put over to.
We have a hazmat kit.
But can you use that with on this too?
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
it's short oil.
Okay. If we decide not to, well, we still have to have the two 55-gallon drums with lids, and that's $260 plus shipping and handling that we don't know what that total's gonna be. And you need a pump that goes from drum 1 to pump to the, if you keep the 500-gallon drum, or we decide to go with a number 2 55-gallon drum, which means you either have to have electric come to it and do it electrically, or you have to buy a pump that does hand crank. Not sure what that would cost. Then when the limit that I'll read this. The container of the used oil is given to the attendant. It's poured into drum number 1. When drum number 1 is half full, it's tested by transfer station attendant. And if it's approved and passes that test, it goes into drum number 2. If we don't use the 500-gallon drum. Clean Harbor is called when drum number 2 is full, or if the oil has been in that drum number 2 for more than 2 months, because that's a state requirement. We can only have 2 months worth of oil in it. Then Clean Harbor comes out and tests that, takes that sample back to a lab and has that tested. If it's approved by them, they send the truck out to collect it, but they also do an on-site test on that drum number 2 to make sure nothing else has been put into it. And then, and I'm not sure what the charge is for the first test when they come out, just to take the sample. If it's approved, Clean Harbor, when they come with the truck to pick it up, it's $1 per gallon if it passes. So that's $55 if you have a full drum, which according to Mark, we highly would not fill a 55 drum or within 2 months. So, and if they test it and it's contaminated, it's $13 per gallon, which is $715 for a 55-gallon drum, which we may never fill. And we still have a 500-gallon drum that we paid $6,000 for that will never, ever, you never get full, even if they never came and picked it up. And especially within 2 months, because that's a state requirement.
Vicki, is there any leeway on that requirement for 2 months if we got a higher license?
I have a call in to Dean and he hasn't called me back yet.
then, right now, we're only licensed for 275 gallon maximum. But, is that-
One of the kids' toys.
Probably. We boring you?
Still there, Chuck?
Yeah, I just had to check Rachel's phone off.
Oh, thought that was one of the kids' toys.
Yeah. Vicky,
Yeah,
I think, and I'm trying to do this from memory now from a year or so ago. I think each time Clean Harbors actually comes out, by the time they test it, they come get it and everything, it's several $100s for that kind of a trip. And if we're not filling a 55 gallon drum even close in a 2-month period, that means our charge for oil at $2 a gallon, we're gonna be losing a lot of money.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I guess the only saving grace so far is we got $5,000 worth of grant money that we applied against, say, 14 grand.
I thought we only had 2,500 in a grant.
No, last year was the second one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All
we're
right.
verifying if we received that though, because when I checked last fall, it was in the governor's office, but we're checking our deposits for this year to see if we've actually received it.
I mean, and just what we have spent, which is almost 15,000 between the, the shed and the 500 gallon drum, which was 6,000, which we'll never use that I know of, a 500 gallon drum.
A
But
lot of people know. They put that synthetic oil in there, they go for 5,000 miles. So that's
Six,
that
well,
much
yeah.
oil coming in, and the main thing. So we stop the water coming in there, you can't put nothing in there. Technically.
Yeah.
Bottom line. Well, how much is it gonna cost
to fix
to
that,
fix that leak?
that leak
Where that
from
water
coming
comes,
in.
I don't know.
Which we got a new shed that's got water in it.
That water, you can't even store a cardboard box in there.
Exactly.
Since we started taking oil, accepting oil, how much have you taken in,
Well,
other
I
than the
have to,
peanut oil there that,
oh, we don't count that.
yeah,
I use that.
You can burn that.
Yeah, I can burn that. Lots of times, almost a year on 4 barrels. When 4 barrels got full, I called them. And
Yeah. but how much you taken in lately,
They're not taking.
in the last 6 months?
Nothing, I ain't taking
Yeah,
nothing,
so,
nothing.
Yeah.
I say we've lost quite a bit already.
Yeah.
But did we have to have all this because of the state and the EPA and stuff?
No.
Oh, we didn't?
No. I don't know if you guys wanna put more money into that place. That's up to you.
And what do we do with a $6,000 500 gallon drum that's just sitting there? I mean, do we
eBay.
try? Huh?
eBay.
eBay, yeah.
Can it be repurposed?
It is pretty.
yeah,
Don't give people the property.
If it's-
You're not gonna get your 6,000.
no,
If it's meant for storing oil, can it be used in a tank? For one of the buildings, or can it be repurposed in some other way?
I wouldn't think that,
I don't know, is it's pure enough to put maple syrup? Sad. No,
You
it's
don't wanna
double
sweat.
walled, made for
No, 'cause
waste
it ain't
oil.
stainless steel. You can't put syrup in it or sap in it.
Yeah.
By law, state law, but I used to do maple syrup.
It's got stainless steel. Or plastic.
So give us
so,
food for thought, we'll make a decision next week. You good with that, Chuck?
Yeah, Audrey, before next week, can you call the tank company and find out if they have a secondary market that they're aware of for being able to dispose of tanks that are in good condition?
Yes, I
it's a
can.
new condition.
And what do you think about canceling and catch basins there that we haven't got yet?
Exactly,
Around
but they've been
the-
paid for, right?
Yeah, they've been paid for.
That was $618.
Probably should cancel that before they make them.
You wanna wait till next week, or you guys making a decision now that you're not gonna do oil? Because it was a 9-month lead time for those things.
Yeah, I know.
It was what Vicky has found out for information, the 60-day having the pump mark makes this project cost prohibitive.
Yeah. It wasn't a moneymaker to begin with, it was just a convenience thing for people, but. You know, when you can go
But at
to
$2, yeah.
O'Reilly's, get rid of 2 gallons a day for nothing.
I would say cancel the drums if we can.
Yeah, before it's too late.
Lenny, who's responsible for the leak in the shed? Who built it?
Kevin Cody lost.
Yeah, I was trying to think of Lost Valley Home Improvement or something, Kevin Cody, and he's tried just about everything. It leaks. If you look at the building where the old bumper post is, where the old compactor was, it leaks in those holes underneath, and then it leaks between the pavement and the building itself. There's no, I mean, he's put all kinds of goop in there.
He's put cement in there too.
Yeah.
And
It just, you know, I tried to seal it and put flashing and bitchethane and
Nothing.
it
can you
just,
have a diverter? Can you put, like an elbow kind of
yeah,
drain it another way, or?
yeah, you could put I'm just gonna put a gutter on there and pipe it towards the demo. But it's not gonna do anything for the old bumper post holes that are there, so.
And you would have to figure out a permanently plug them holes.
Yeah.
Come up with something.
Lenny, could we use like a pavement sealer?
A pavement sealer?
You know,
Yeah, like you do on a driveway
well, if it
or
doesn't
a
help-
road.
You gotta dig all around that foundation, go down,
No,
seal it.
but it's that,
Problem is, we can't seal by the shed because the shed touches the building pretty much.
it's that deep. However that big around.
So the water isn't coming from the shed, it's coming from.
Well, the
Well-
shed off the,
it comes in from the shed too.
and where it sets out from the eave of the shed, when it still gets heavy rain, it still gets in them 2 holes.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can look, find out some type of stuff you put in there, or sealer, stand,
It's gonna work.
Flex seal.
but you know what I'm saying. You know,
It's not gonna work.
no,
You gotta dig it out.
it's gonna cost, I mean, it'd be so,
If we're not gonna proceed with oil, there's really no sense to fix the leak.
That's true.
But what are you gonna do with the building that
Then
you put
gotta-
money
then you got
into?
a shed you can't use.
I was gonna say, and that's another 7,500, that,
Oh, you're not gonna do oil, so let's just throw this thing away?
I-
No.
Well, it's still something in there. But you just
well,
can't-
but even the
just can't
shed
store
alone
oil.
won't last if it stays wet.
Well,
You can end up with mold and everything else in there.
the I-beam that's in there is pretty cancerous. I don't know how that's how long that'll last. Before everything collapses.
Put it
Yeah,
on
it
hold.
wasn't a
no,
good from the beginning.
I put it on
Well,
hold.
that's
You
up to
have
the
your future,
builder, isn't it?
Whatever you wanna design, how you wanna lay that whole place
Yeah.
out.
Is that on the builder? Not us,
As far as,
as far as the fact that it's a defective shed. That's what you're paid for, is have a shed, told what a shed that's not filled with water, now it's filled with what, still up to him, right?
Yeah, I guess you could say, but
What's the contract?
I mean, we didn't get what we,
I'd have to see
Contract.
what the contract, what that says, actually.
Yeah, and Lenny, that is leaking around that ID on one end.
Yeah,
So I'm not sure how much of that is responsibility if that team is rotting.
correct.
Close there.
I mean, that was existing, so he was just building around it, so. Yeah, he's been back several times. I've called him, he's gone back, trying to stop it from leaking. And he thought that last time he put that silicone, not silicone, some kind of grounds landscaping caulking that he used.
Over on the edge of the building.
Yeah, and even that didn't work.
Yeah, and
Is it in the future, recommendation is to do a design on this,
Yeah,
recycle center with shed, the covers over the
yeah,
dumpsters on that, why don't you just sit on this and just wait until.
Yeah.
But down the line, remember how that shed was built? Okay. Under that roof is a floor. Somebody mentioned way down the line. Lift that roof up and build a shed. We have another whole shed up above. There's a whole floor in there,
Yeah.
under that roof.
yeah, I know there is.
So
So,
down the line.
so you could have a second story
you can
there,
have a
place
second
each lunch.
story.
Dance hall.
And that was the original idea.
No.
Not if the whole thing's coming down off that beam.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah. Yeah, I know they planned on putting a second story on it.
But I mean, outside of that, I don't know what.
So should we look into or make a decision as to the drum? We already said to get rid of the plastic container that holds the drums, right? Cancel that order.
Yeah.
But should we look into doing something about selling the 500-gallon drum?
Chuck asked me to see if there's a market for it, so I'm
Oh,
gonna
okay.
research that.
All right, I'm sorry.
Chuck, do you want to make the decision today to abandon this or go forward, or do you want to wait till next week?
Well, I'd like to hear whether there's any capability to
Okay.
go to the next level license, what that would actually mean, what it would cost. To me, this having to pump it every 60 days makes this cost prohibitive.
Well, I think the
We
60,
can't charge enough per gallon to.
the 60 days is still in the next level license. It just lets you store more.
Okay, all right. That, to me, that's the killer right there, the 60-day having to pump it,
Yeah,
the cost
Yeah,
related to that.
it doesn't matter. It's a 2-month limit.
Is Clean Harbor the only company that does this?
I believe so. The only ones I've seen around. Yeah, the 60 days, Chuck, is no matter what you have for licenses.
Whether you're 275 gallons or 10 gallons. Yeah.
In my opinion, that's the killer, because they having to pay Clean Harbors to come up and do the testing and come up and get it every 60 days. Will be $700 each trip, and if we're not even filling a 55-gallon drum, we cannot charge enough per gallon that people are willing to pay to
Correct.
get rid of the oil.
I mean, if you only got 5 gallons, you'd still only store it for 60 days.
Correct. And it'll cost you $700 to get rid of it.
Yep.
Especially when they gotta come and test it, and then they test it again to pump it out, and it's more if it's contaminated, and it's just more and more money being spent.
So
I'm good with
somebody's,
canceling the order.
okay,
Okay,
we cancel the order anyway.
Will do.
And then we'll see if there's a chance to resell. And we'll take a vote on it next week. Is that okay?
Yep, and did we implemented the public hearing policy change to the transfer station policies to add oil, did we not?
Yeah, we'd have
Or is
to,
that pending?
no, we had the public hearing for the new prices in the oil.
right.
So we'll have to have another public hearing to cancel the order.
We may be able to make a modification without a public hearing. You know, Audrey can check that with NHMA.
Okay. Yeah, it's possible.
When we add something, we definitely have to have a public hearing, but I believe when you pull out a piece of the policy, you don't have to do that, but NHMA will know that.
Okay. And did you hear Mark say the glass container is back? We'll start collecting glass again tomorrow.
Oh, perfect. No, I missed that. He was far enough away from the speaker. I couldn't.
Okay. And how about the metal? Is that, they're gonna pick
Okay.
that up and,
Talk about the truckers do the metal cost.
yeah, it's $250.
Okay, where it is right now, let's fill it right there.
Yeah.
And when that gets full, I'll call that in, and when they bring the new one, put it on the tab.
Okay,
Okay,
sounds good.
why should we spend that kind of money just to come up and swap out?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I didn't know how full it was.
And there ain't really much metal in it.
Okay,
What if we got $200 something you want to spend, go for it. I wouldn't. I just wait till it's full where it is.
okay, sounds good. You get anything more from that?
I think I'm all set.
You got anything you want to ask Mark, Chuck?
No, all set. Thank you.
Okay,
Welcome.
you're all, you set with us, or anything you want to talk to us about?
Oh.
Okay, so I figured, you know, do you get you out of here first, so, yeah, okay. Well, thanks for coming in, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Everybody play nice.
Of course.
Okay, administrative comments.
Yeah, I put in a request for quote for all the 6 times we went over last week.
Yeah.
And I contacted the Ironworks Road abutter and told him it would probably be September before the whole process went through for the town to be able to advertise that adjacent lot. So they were good with that.
Didn't the guy want to buy that back though?
Yeah, so I sent him that certified letter and he has 30 days to respond to it, so that's like 60 days. So if he buys it back, and I told the abutter that that's,
Oh, okay.
I had to notify him and.
Yeah.
I did contact Clean Harbors because we still have those 2 barrels on the side of the road of oil. And as Vicky said, I met with her on the transfer station permit and we went over what it meant and. Let's see, I have a couple things to follow up with the auditors this week. And we received the budget sheets from the budget committee. So I think after the July meeting is when we start getting those out to departments, but I think most departments know their dates when they're presenting. And I need to get an ARPA report into the state. That's it for now.
Okay. Maybe you can answer this as a health officer, those 2 barrels of oil
We have 2 barrels on the side of the
we
street.
Mm.
found
Where,
Class 6 road, Parsonsville Road. Somebody just dumped them off there. I mean, are we required to take care of them?
Is it 55 gallons or?
2 plastic barrels.
I would say so. Probably the easiest way is just when the next hazardous waste day comes along.
Yeah, you're only allowed 10 gallons though.
Well, how big of things is this, 55 gallons?
Yeah, and they're
maybe
full.
they give us a break.
And they're full?
in town.
I have an idea where they came from, but
My immediate answer is I don't know. But there. I would think the state might. follow something.
Because they gotta be, Clean Harbors would have to come and test them. And then come pump them out.
And I think that was the original goal of the oil program at the transfer station, but if people are collecting 100 gallons at home, why are they gonna be coming to the transfer station and paying $2 a gallon?
When they can just dump it offside the road. Get rid of it that way. All right, so we had a call into them anyway. Right?
Yeah,
So,
multiple times.
Are they gonna be left there on the side of the road, or are they gonna be transferred to the transfer station?
no. it's-
We
There's
want
no
them
way
to
to
take
pick 'em
away
up.
the whole thing. We want them to take it off.
There's no way to pick them up.
Bucket truck.
Tractor.
Okay. Nick, Chuck, you got anything?
Just a couple of updates from some of the stuff I was working on last week. We did get the okay from LTIP on Thursday, that we now can submit the $155,000 grant, so we're eligible to apply. And I finished up the draft RFP and sample bylaws for the Carroll County Broadband District Planning Committee and sent that off to the executive committee for review to be sent out. That pretty much took up my time.
Okay. Anything else you want to add?
All set, Lenny, thank you.
Okay, Vicky,
No, I'm all set.
you all set?
Yes.
I'll say this again, dogs have to be licensed by May 1st. Fines of gonna start to incur, and rabies certificates are required. If everybody remembers, this is our last 9 o'clock in the morning meeting. Next week we'll be meeting at 4:30. And every 2 weeks, starting next week, so. Chuck, I haven't been able to catch up with the logging people on Concord Hill about the road damage, but I will.
I just want to make sure we had that documented, that's why I sent the pictures.
Yeah. And I think they may know that because a couple of trucks were coming the other way yesterday, so. But I'll catch up with them. And any idea when we get a sign quote? They take weeks, or how long is it?
They were pretty slow the last couple of
Okay.
orders.
Okay,
Yeah.
and did they take up a collection or anything for Maria?
No,
There was a GoFundMe page.
yeah.
Yeah, but I thought they were gonna do a collection here. I
I
thought,
asked Sean about it and he told me about the GoFundMe page as well.
oh,
So I guess people wanted to donate to High Watch directly.
Yeah.
But the GoFundMe page was from her sister for her children. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you,
trouble with GoFundMe's, they take a percentage of that.
I know
Yes, they
that,
do.
I know.
Anyway. And the budget, not the budget committee, planning board wants to know if they can bring the printer back in here. Because when they have their meetings, they all the time want to make copies of stuff. I mean, and Elaine was in
Yeah,
your office and makes copies for
Yeah.
people, but if we could, they would just ask if they could bring it back. I said, well, they took it out, I think, for voting. Have more room, so. And I think Dale Smith is scheduled to start next week on Green Mountain Road, I think he said. He had us in the schedule.
okay, cool.
So expect delays on Green Mountain Road. I told him to, I should have told JT, but I told him to call dispatch and let them know that they'd be working there and it may be one lane, they may have to close it for a couple minutes at a time or something, so.
Is it gonna be someone out there?
Yeah, he's gonna have one of his people there trying to help direct traffic and stuff. He's not gonna hire flaggers. I don't believe. Basically, there'll just be one lane, so put signs and everything else up. it may be delays for anybody. And I'll get to the bolts out there. Cut them off with some of these stubs that tow on them. Forgot to bring the saw today, so. That's all I got.
There is a meeting tonight in the modular building for the different departments.
Yeah.
They're gonna meet and talk about what they wanna do out there.
What time's that?
I believe it's at 6.
So,
And Carol and Rebecca are kind of organizing it. Rebecca's made sketches on graph paper so they can look at a few plans.
okay.
We might
Do
want,
they-
they're gonna come back and ask, maybe like for electricity, it'd be when the changes were made recently, they took the outlet that the air conditioner used,
Yeah,
but behind the map case, there's an outlet possibly. So we just wanna make sure we get it air conditioned again for them.
do they need one of us there, or it's just,
I think they're okay.
they're okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Every time I check email, someone else has been invited, so it's gonna be like 10 people.
No.
It'll be like herding
Yeah.
cats.
Won't be room enough for a selectman in there. And everybody, tax bills are in the mail and they're available on the kiosk. So I got mine yesterday, so everybody should be getting theirs if they haven't. Public comment, anybody want to, Linda?
The flags in for the cemeteries.
I think they put them on
Great.
I think they did
Last
that
Friday?
Week.
last Friday, I think.
And then the road has been touched up.
Cemetery Road?
Yeah.
Not really, but it's not that bad.
It's not.
No, because they did it last fall when they gravelled it.
I remember.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was up there yesterday. And it's not that bad. It's nice. I actually held it good. Yeah. They-
Is it possible that JT could use that tank? or something? Or the,
I can't.
I don't know
hear
what
you.
what use it has for it.
Any EPA regulations and everything else.
Yeah.
You don't want to store anything in there.
has there been oil?
Hello,
That's the only thing you can use is oil. You can't put anything else. into it. You're better off to sell it to
Yeah.
a garage where somebody's burning oil.
Yeah.
Or store their used oil in it. That's,
Yeah.
But, I mean, if it's,
plus they don't have the room for fire station. There's no room.
I think it's just heat. Are you done with comments in the meeting here? Do you want to bring in?
Yeah. If
Okay.
there's somebody there. Yeah.
All right. Okay, Kate, you're on.
good morning.
Morning, Kate.
Morning.
Interesting that I did not hear in today's business the restraining order that I filed for against the public health officer of the town of Effingham. Are you aware of that restraining order?
Yes.
Okay. Have you seen the details of that restraining order?
No.
I think that you should see it, and I'm going to ask this board one question. First off, the restraining order shows stills from a video I took of your public health officer entering my horse paddock when he was supposedly under an administrative inspection warrant, looking to see if I had no septic. You know, there were some niggly little things that he filed this lawsuit because he didn't bother looking for the septic because it was hot and there was brush and he was bored. But he wasn't so bored to walk into the paddock. There's a video that shows him lifting up the electric tape, going under and back and forth. He's blessed that I had just fed the horses and the power was off, although it would have really been fun to see him jiggle from that bolt. That is a violation of RSA 432.33, my right to farm. He has no reason to enter the agricultural areas on a farm unless it's under the auspices of an ordinance adopted under 147.1 and 147.2. I expect this to be granted, but it would be really nice if you just ask this person to stop entering the property, okay?
Okay.
I have the other thing I want to ask, because everyone knows 2 p.m. Carroll County Courthouse, fanfare and hoopla. He also admitted that the reason that I am named personally in this case that was brought as a land use issue against Misty Mountain Farm LLC and New Hampshire LLC was because I am a co-signer on the mortgage deed. He also admitted that he didn't name my former spouse, may rest in peace, as a defendant because it was his personal friend. It gets better. I would like you to non-suit this action against me as an individual person, because the only reason for me to have been named, is to harass and intimidate me, okay? Now, I know there's a lot of people out there wondering how you're going to get your money back. Well, I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that your lawyer is incompetent. The fact that she filed this suit against me as a person with no legal basis, I don't know if it's enough to disbar her. I'm probably sure there's some kind of stupid attorney re-education thing, but it should be enough for the town to collect on their legal professional malpractice. Okay. So I'd like you to consider that as business right now. Otherwise, I'm going at 2 o'clock. I'm not saying Misty Mountain Farm LLC, I got that covered. But putting me as an individual person, that's like suing Dean Kamen for one of his companies, right? I have an operating agreement certified that I'm pretty sure he looked at and just doesn't understand, that shields me personally from any liability on behalf of an LLC. That's what LLC stands for, limited liability company, as opposed to a regular partnership. So, and that's in addition to all the other idiocy that was on. I'll be posting all the hearing tapes. It was enlightening. So that's 2 things. Tell him as your agent to stay away from my property and my children and my grandchildren, and drop me as a person from this idiocy. Thank you.
Thank you. Chuck, could you hear any of that?
Yeah, and most of that's part of court case, so most of that should not have been even allowed to be said. So the restraining order being in existence is allowable, but anything beyond that around some of the features of what's going on should not have been covered in this meeting.
That's a lie, Chuck, and you know it. This suit wasn't even brought by the selectmen. You have the right to have discussions with your attorney. You have a right to discuss written materials with the attorney, but you're not allowed to bring a lawsuit without a public vote and public knowing this. This has been bought by the town of Effingham, a class of which I am personally a member, as is my adult daughter, as is both my children, one of whom went 7 years to Effingham Elementary School. So the fact that you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars at this point to persecute me in something that you cannot win against me is idiocy, and everyone should know about it.
Okay. It being a legal matter, I'm really not gonna discuss it. Kate, you still there?
Yeah, we muted.
Oh, yes, sir. No, and that's fine, but I'm not doing it for you. I expect you all to do nothing, but I want the rest of the town to know what's going on. 2 p.m. Carroll County Courthouse.
Okay.
effinghamburgers.github.io. Effinghamburgers.
Okay. You wanna,
He can talk about.
oh, he had his hand up. I didn't know if there
Yeah.
was something else.
That I actually was gonna comment on something I know I could comment on, but,
Yeah, so if it pertains to the
I
case,
just don't see the point.
yeah, if it pertains to the case, I'd rather you didn't.
No, I don't.
Okay.
It's
Lenny, I'll get you a top copy of the restraining order. I'll get you a copy of the photos. You should really be aware of what your lawyers are doing.
Can you send that to the town office?
I followed the court's instruction and sent it to town clerk, so there should be a copy in your
Okay,
office.
okay, we'll look for it.
Please do. Please,
Okay.
please understand, you know, I understand that you want to trust your lawyers, but until you read what they're filing, do you really want to trust these people? They filed a lawsuit against me as a person. I have nothing as a person to do with land use issues.
Okay,
No, it's in court, we can't.
okay, we'll look at the paperwork, Kate, and that's as far as we're gonna go with it today. Okay. Anybody else got anything to add? No, and you want a non-public?
Yes, please.
Make a motion, we go into non-public, 91:3:2.
Okay.
Okay, okay. All those in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. You staying on, Chuck?
Yep,
Okay,
yes, I,
okay.
I don't know.
Right, what do you do? Stop the video.
good.
Linda, did Cindy ever get to you? I'll remind her. She's working, so she did.
Right.
The old days, hoping out. I'll make a motion to come out of non-public.
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And we won't seal the minutes. Does anybody have anything else? they wanna- Just remember, Chuck, next week it's 4:30.
Got it, I have it on the calendar already.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the Board of Selectmen's meeting.
Hold on a second,
Well, it's been moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
all right.
Have a good trip, Chuck.
Enjoy
Thank you
your
very
week.
much.
Enjoy your week, Chuck.
Thank you.
Yep,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.
All right.